So I decided I was going to study that a little bit, and I was quite shocked by what I found when I started researching this poison.
Like, they're the worst neighbours I could possibly have had, because they've had no real consultation with the residents here, and all these underhanded agendas that the council has had in collusion with the Brook Sanctuary has created a whole lot of division amongst the residents with the council and resulted in lots of meetings with the council, and we've tried to have meetings with the Brook Sanctuary as well and found out that they've been pulling strings behind the scenes, that have got no concern about what we're feeling here about this beautiful valley and the beautiful area where the sanctuary is now. So it's left a very bad taste in everyone's mouth. Okay, well, I'm a resident in the Brook Valley and the camp here, and I've been living here for about 9 years now, and I used to go for walks up right deep into the bush up where the sanctuary is now, and I remember when there was lots of bird life and lots of animal life in general up there. So it was very abundant with all sorts of creatures before they decided to put a sanctuary in and put a fence around it.
And the result of using brodifacoum is that very slowly these animals start bleeding, and that just gets worse and worse the more vitamin K gets taken out of their system. And it ends with them dying, which can take several weeks in the worst cases.
It's very in its original form, like it would be looking in its pre-colonial times, and looks very pure, very pristine, and everything in balance.
Officially, this brodifacoum is only to be used for killing rodents. What's happening here in the sanctuary is they're actually going to use the poison to kill the rodents, and they're going to leave the rodents lying around so they can kill the stoats when the stoats eat the rodents. And this happens because this brodifacoum doesn't change in structure after it gets eaten, and so the carcasses are toxic that they leave lying around to kill the stoats, but also live rodents that are in the sanctuary that get sublethal doses, they will still be toxic already as well. And so it kills rodents and stoats, but unfortunately it will also kill absolutely everything else that is feeding on the carcasses or that's eating rats or mice or whatever gets killed. And so the whole effect is that it kind of cascades onto other animals, and so the first ones to go are, of course, predatory birds. What's been found out more and more now is that insects can also eat the bait that's being put down, and they can store the toxins in their bodies, and it doesn't actually kill the insects, or it doesn't kill most of them. There's actually more and more evidence that that this is something that happens in reality.
Well, I wasn't really happy. I've never been in favour of the idea of sanctuaries in the first place, because it's really leaving nature to do its own things the better way to go. But I sort of accepted it as far as that I could see their reasoning, that they want to keep some sort of containment of the wildlife in there. But there was no mention of the way they were going to eliminate the predators at the time when they were putting the fence up. So it didn't have the same emotional effect as when I found out later on, when they decided to tell the council that they wanted to use brodifacoum to remove all the pests, that had a much more intense emotional reaction, because I can understand the fence itself is probably serving some purpose as far as conservation and keeping these so-called predators out, but there's many other ways of looking at it as well.
There's more and more. There's slugs and snails. Once the bait gets wet, will feed on it. Birds will actually, once the baits get rained on, they go soft, and they're no longer actually very attractive for rodents, but they're actually more easy to eat at that stage by any bird that decides to have a peck at them.